do, they have to leave their rubbish bins out on the street for a whole week, which is a problem in itself. Now, I don't mind that arrangement if that works and if that's efficient for the council. But at the same time, when you implemented this new regime, you actually gave the contract to a company called Waste Management, who then bought the alternative collection, which was called Red Bins, which would have allowed me to then contract with Red Bins to come around and actually collect my rubbish sort of on demand, where I could give them a text and say, hey, I'm there, could you please pick it up this week? And I would have been happy to pay for that, just as I have to pay for your tags. So I guess my concern and issue is who in the council thought that was a good idea to actually implement this thing, but also at the same time remove an option for absentee owners, which I'm sure is over 50% of your constituencies, right? Now, the last point I'd like to make is the tag system that you use. It's actually, I get and I understand that, but it's very flimsy. So you can have your bin out there for a couple of days because you're an absentee owner, and somebody can easily come along and take your blue tag off your bin. And then Waste Management will not collect your bin. And this has occurred to me. So all I would like to do is to ask is, please, could you please review that? Because I just think that it's just not effective and it must cause problems all over the district. And secondly, can you please ask Waste Management to provide that alternative service that used to be provided? Because that's probably what most of your constituents would like. And I think the role of the council and TCDC is actually to service and respond to the needs of your constituents, not ideological type things. So that's all I'd like to say, and hope you take it on board, hope you do something with it. It's up to you from now on. Cheers. I'm happy to take any questions if you have them of me as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Graham. I will ask the councillors if they do have any questions of you.
Well, all I can say is, as an absentee councillor, what you're saying, Graham, I completely agree with.
Well, good. Then you can actually take the charge and do something about it. Thank you.
We'll see what we can do.
Thank you. Were there any other questions for Graham? No. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your submission.
And thank you for making this so easy. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes. Okay. Right. So the next person that I have speaking is Adrian Catron, Community Board Chair for Thames. Adrian, would you like to? Now, I didn't get to explain the rules earlier, so you have 5 minutes to address the councillors.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I must say, in 30 years of local government, this is the first time I've seen neither mayor or deputy mayor chairing a council meeting, so it's rather unique. So, on behalf of the Thames Community Board and good morning to fellow elected members and staff, on behalf of the Thames Community Board, we want to talk about the rubbish collection, and I'll just read it verbatim so you can take it. Thames Community Board supports peak summer collections for rubbish and glass once a week instead of twice a week, aligning it with the weekly collection of recycling. The board notes that during the peak period of Christmas Day to Waitangi Day, all refuse transfer stations that are open 7 days have extended opening hours. So we support the reduction in that. The financial strategy, the Thames Community Board acknowledges the support of Council's financial principles set on page 116 of the 2024-34 long-term plan. And the item that I'm really here to speak about is the Burke Street Reserve in Thames. And I come to you asking, almost to the point of pleading, to try and get something done about our parks and reserves in Thames. I know in speaking to other community boards, they have a problem district-wide with parks and reserves. I'm beginning to wonder, with the current contractor we've got, of whether the KPIs have been adhered to or even checked on. Rhodes Park had no money in the long-term plan, and that Rhodes Park, they said, oh, that was on the basis that if we went for aquatic centre and a sports facility, then Rhodes Park would become redundant. And it's the board's consensus that no, Rhodes Park will be with us for the next 18 to 20 years at least out there. But meanwhile, there's been no money being spent on Rhodes Park, and Rhodes Park is falling into disrepair. We struggled and pleaded prior in November, December last year to try and get some action taken out at Rhodes Park. We were promised action at Rhodes Park. Currently, fields 4 and 3 were inoperable last year, and already last weekend, field 4 was underwater as a result of the high tides. Now, there's not much you can do with nature, but at the same time, they could clean the drains and try and make it a little bit better and check on the floodgates to make sure they're operating. In terms of Burke Street Park, we asked for money for Burke Street Dog Park, probably one of the most used areas in Thames other than Rhodes Park for recreational services. The council has a policy of fining people $300 if you take your dog off leash anywhere else other than off leash areas. So if the council is obligating us to run our dogs off leash in a designated area, I think it behoves this district council to look after it. At the moment, you'd wonder if it's not going out for haymaking or something like that. The grass is so long, it's unbelievable. The centrepiece is great, that was mown recently, but other areas around this town have very long grass. And I'm just wondering whether the contractors are being supervised to the extent they should be. I am really feeling hopeful with the appointment of a new open parks manager, open parks reserves manager. It's quite a long title, and I'm really looking forward to him. He started last week, and we're looking forward to seeing him out and about and looking at what we've got, because there's one thing that makes people feel their well-being feel good is the fact that if you've got somewhere for people to go, have recreational activities and things like that, the well-being factor is great. So in Burke Street Dog Park, we are waiting and have been waiting now for almost 3 years for the drains to be cleaned, for the gravel on the path to be put there and so the paths are reinstated back to the condition they should be in. And also, one of the critical things we want is water. And we're asked for a water supply to be put down there for dogs. If you're going to encourage people to take their dogs down there for off-leash areas, then water is a critical component to have in that park. Is that 1 or 2 minutes to go? Oh. So, thank you. Is that the 9 seconds?
Any questions thank you, John?
Thanks very much. Adrian, I'm just wondering if you can try and help me understand this a little more. You've come today to a feedback session in regard to the consultation process. I'm just wondering what the Thames Community Board has actually done to promote this or raise this within the normal communication processes to have resolved, and why the need to bring it to a consultation session.
Thank you, Councillor Grant. You must have a memory lapse somewhere, because I was here for the LTP and put in for the same application, the LTP, and you turned it down. So we were advised to come back here to the annual plan and endeavour to get it back on the annual plan. So we, for example, we're not doing our Pond Street lights this year. So that's $278,000 sitting in abeyance in there. One would assume it's because it's a line in the LTP that they're rating for those lights to be replaced of $278,000, and we're looking forward to seeing some of that money, if not being spent where it should be, then we could utilise it in this area. But I have been before this august council before and spoken and requested it, and you ignored it.
Just a follow-up question to that. The question that I had was around the reinstatement of the water at Burke Street specifically, because that's what your feedback is regarding. So you're saying that you have made those requests through the community board and they have not been actioned, or they haven't been followed up?
Yes, you are correct, Councillor Grant. That is true. It's actually what we have an activity sheet or an action sheet, and it's been on there now for almost 3 years now. Our training, as you well know, ends in October, and it's been on there all that time. And it was previously there. And to add to the injury and the insult on that, there's equipment which has been purchased 2 years ago for Burke Street Dog Park and still sits in a shed somewhere around Thames here. So the water fount, which is about yay high, and it's both for humans and dogs, sits in that shed along with equipment for Burke Street Park, Dog Park. And I just, as big as belief, how we could buy equipment and leave it sitting in the shed.
Thanks. Thanks for the clarification.
Councillor Connell, did you have a question?
No, I think that's all been answered. Thank you, Adrian.
Don't let me scare you off.
No.
You asked.
No, yeah, I was going to ask around how long this had been on your list of priorities and having the whole support of your community board, but I think you've indicated that's over 3 years. So your dog park's not really workable without it being completed with water and, yeah, I've got it.
And just a quick answer to your question, that's a fundamental need in every dog park, as like poo stations and water are fundamental things you expect to see in each and every council-controlled dog park throughout New Zealand. And every place that we go on a bigger walk to in Auckland or Hamilton, we see these items. It's nothing new.
Thank you, Board Chair Catrin.
Thank you.
Appreciate you making the time to come and speak to us. So we now have Andrew Wilfield, who will be speaking to us around the rating review. And Andrew, I believe you're online.
Yes, I'm online. I'm just bringing my camera and microphone on. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Good morning. Just to remind you, you've got 5 minutes to address the council.
Yeah, thank you, councillors. I just want to bring a bit of insights into this rating review process you're going through. One, my background is a registered rural valuer, and I was in the agribusiness area in the Gisborne-Tarrafiti area for most of my career. So I just want, and I've been in the Coromandel now for about 7 years. So the first, and it's 3 parts to this. One is my own residential property, and going through the fair share calculator, I was a little bit dismayed and have questioned this with your staff, and this has been confirmed. And of course, I found I had the wrong zoning on my residential property. It was zoned general rate rural upper and residential whangamata. Now, I've raised that issue with the staff, and that's been confirmed, and it's been an error since about 2008. Now, that raises my question about the whole integrity of the database, to make sure before you do any changes that you make sure we have got the rating zoning correct. It also didn't mean I didn't miss out on anything, because I was charged for local water, wastewater, rubbish. But while the staff confirmed that there was no real financial change in the current unapproved value basis of doing your rating reviews, they didn't give me any indication of option 2 and 3. And under the current model that you have, option 2 was an increase of 13.9% for my residential property, and option 3 was an increase in 12.9%. But there were quite hefty charges around district transportation and local works and services, whangamata, rural other. So my basic question on this thing is just to highlight there's possibly some data integrity issues within your database. So if your council staff have found my one at fault, there may be others. So I just want to raise that issue.
Thank you.
That's one matter. Yeah, that's a local issue. So I'll leave that for you to deal with, I think. And if someone can come back to me and perhaps redo my fair share calculator for me under the correct process, I'd be interested to know what it'd come out with.
Okay, we'll absolutely leave that with staff to close the loop out and come back to you.
And saying that, I've got no issue with capital value rating. Gisborne District Council have been doing it for a number of years now. I think probably more than a decade, probably even greater. I just want to move, just to bring to your attention an anomaly that came out of the rating reviews in Gisborne, and that's to do with the kiwi fruit industry. Because I've been working in the kiwi fruit industry here. I don't know whether you're aware that the Valuer General actually, after in the last rating review, I think they did in Gisborne, the Valuer General, after being questioned about this, brought in the fact that G3 gold licenses form part of the capital value for rating purposes. Now, I don't know whether you're all aware of this. The industry's not huge on the Coromandel, but this process went through the appeal courts, was challenged all the way to the High Court and upheld all the way. Now, I've probably been on every kiwi fruit orchard in the Coromandel, and there is G3 around it. And the problem with this, of course, for your point of view, is the database for it is all held by Zespri. You cannot find anything out on a land memorandum about this. So have a look into that one, because it is very much embedded in rating law already. So there's no point, you can't escape it. But if you want some help or want some assistance with this, I'm very familiar with the valuing firm in Gisborne that does the rating reviews. They use a local firm, and this is where it all stemmed from. So if you want to get in touch with some councils that have probably gone down this track a lot further than you guys have, just sing out, because I can direct you in the right direction here.
Sorry, I appreciate that, Andrew, and I'm looking at the appropriate staff member that might want to know that, and obviously she'll be able to get in touch with you.
Yes, it created quite a turmoil. I'd have to say it did cause quite a turmoil amongst the kiwi fruit growers in the Gisborne area when it first came out. But it's gone to the High Court in appeal, and I think it's gone having to go through all the growing areas in New Zealand. And it's a very unusual thing, because basically the license is a piece of paper.
Thank you. You've reached your 5 minutes. Was there anything else that you quickly wanted to cover, or are you happy to have questions if there are any in the room?
Yeah, I'm happy to have questions. But it's really just a few insights as to how other councils have gone down this path a little bit.
My question, Andrew.
Absolutely appreciate that. I think Councillor Gottlieb online has a question for you, Andrew.
My question, Andrew, what was your third point?
It was really an issue in the Wairoa Council about the damage forestry industry is doing to roading, and how they went down the path of putting an extra rating factor on forestry operations. And they got challenged in the court system as well, and their viewpoint got upheld also. It was mainly to do with trying to raise money to keep the rural roading network up to scratch, given the heavy use it was getting. And they've been challenged over that as well, and the court system upheld their viewpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other questions? All right. Thank you very much. Really. Oh, sorry. We do have one from Councillor Grant.
John, thanks very much for coming on today. I really appreciate the feedback, and it's a shame that more of our people around the area couldn't have taken the time to do what you've done. So really do appreciate it and found it very interesting. My question to you is in regard to the tagging and the cost of the tags, which you've said in your suggestion could be reduced, and the underlying comment within your submission is around the purpose of encouraging recycling. If we reduce that tag cost, do you not think that would encourage the use of general waste and would therefore see an increase in what's going to the tip?
Sorry, Andrew. Are you on the right page there, Councillor Grant?
May not be.
You might not. You might be looking at a different submission.
Right.
Andrew, that doesn't sound familiar from what I can see for your submission. Is that correct?
My apologies.
Yeah, nothing to do. I wasn't raising any issues about tags.
Yep. No, well, your rating one was appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sinclair?
Good morning, everyone. Hey, just a quick question, Andrew, about the anomalies that you found between the rating the fair share calculator and the rates. Was there no indication that we'd been putting you in the wrong category in any of your rates bills? I'm just worried about how...
Look, I can't remember. I didn't pull out a rate bill. I just happened to notice it when in the detail that came out in the fair share calculator that, and I just... And the staff member said it's been an error since the subdivision here was done in 2008. So they were busy checking all the other properties around here to see what it's
awesome.
quite historic. It goes back quite a long way.
Goodness, sorry about that. No, thank you very much for the answer.
Yeah.
All right, that looks like it. Thank you very much, Andrew. Really appreciate your insights and taking the time to come and speak to us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Right, and our next speaker is Patrick Kerr, and I don't have a page number to give you all, but his comments are at the bottom of our run sheet. Oh, sorry.
Through the chair, I've also sent the submission through via email.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Morning, Patrick.
Good morning. Can you
Just
hear
a
me?
reminder that you have 5 minutes to address the council.
Certainly. Thank you for allowing me to come here, and unfortunately I was unable to be there in person. I'm here to make comment on the rating review. I have in front of me a copy of the cheat sheet for elected members, which probably says it all. I believe that this is a biased approach to the entire rating review. I was on the online forum recently, and I asked the question why and who made the decision to actually review the rate system. And the person from council said it just felt better. Well, I'm afraid that's not sufficient. The Act basically covers off the affordability, fairness and equity. In terms of the affordability, this has nothing to do with the individual's ability to pay, but more to do with has the community the capacity to pay. And I believe that they also require it to be apolitical. However, what I'm really most concerned about is that the way in which the matter has been dealt with is that it effectively says, oh, there's going to be, there's not going to be, it's going to be generally fair and equitable. Well, I'm afraid if we had two properties, each property had a land value of $1 million and one property had an improvement of $4 million and the other had the improvement of $1 million, that effectively means that there are two properties, one with a capital value of 5 million and the other with 2 million. Now, if in the event of a 5% rate increase, the person with the $5 million is going to basically pay 5/7 of that rate rise. That, to me, is inequitable. First of all, if the person decides to actually spend their capital on the $4 million improvement, they've already used and paid for all the services the council provides. for the improvement, but yet they are now penalised for any future rise in rating. So you've got to remember also that 75% of all rates received by the TCDC come from the eastern side of the peninsula. That's from Whangamata to Whangaroa. Of which approximately 50% are absentee owners who, of course, use less of the services provided by the council. So what is the council's view on the independence of the review, and who, in their wisdom, decided to choose it? Is there anyone there that can answer that?
Thanks, Patrick. So during a hearing, we're here to listen to your comments, and councillors may ask questions for points of clarification of you. So were there any other points that you wanted to raise?
No, not necessarily, but I think I've made, I do not believe that that the council has the ability to decide on affordability. And in terms of its fairness, I think it's a biased approach to the whole issue of the review.
All right, thank you. Very well done on time, I should tell you that. I just want to ask the question ask if any of the councillors have questions of you, and I can see one from Councillor Revel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Patrick, and thank you for your comments. In your submission, you also had a view on SUIPs. Are you wanting to speak to that at all?
Well, I think I believe that the existing system is perfectly adequate based on the land value. And in terms of SERPs, I don't see again why someone should be penalised for having the foresight to produce another unit on their property. And is that fair? I don't think it is. I think the existing system is just fine. And I hear that other councils are using a capital value. Well, so what? This is the Thames-Coromandel District Council. Are we driven by desire to join the club when we have a perfectly adequate system? You can comment, Peter.
No, just wondering what your thinking was there. Thank you.
And just a reminder, councillors can just ask questions for clarification. We're not having a debate here today. I have a question from Councillor Robin Sinclair.
Good morning, Patrick. I had two questions, but they're quick ones. Firstly, have you used the fair share calculator on your own property? And secondly, have you chosen random properties or properties that you know from other parts of the district and used the fair share calculator on those?
I have looked at several properties. What I find extraordinary is that you cannot, other than do a screenshot of the, you should be able to download the different comparisons. The screenshot, of course, doesn't fill the holes, so you've got to, it cuts off half the image. So I would have thought it would be a useful tool for someone to be able to download the image of the comparison. So every time I've got to go and do the same review or look at the screenshot for the different properties that I have reviewed, and then because it cuts off half the, it's not my problem. It's just a fact of the screenshot. If you make it smaller so you can get it all on one screen, you can't actually read the analysis.
Right, thanks, Patrick. I've had some success with downloading mine, so maybe you need to call our customer service folks, and they might be able to talk you through it.
Okay.
They might be able to talk you through that.
Okay. But it
Are there any other questions for Patrick?
Just a print button would be a useful tool.
All right. Okay. Okay, I've got staff telling me that there is a print button and it can be downloaded, but maybe you need to ring our help desk and we might be able to give you a hand to
I shall.
work that technology.
No
Were
problem.
there any other questions from Patrick? For Patrick, sorry. No, that's it. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to come to speak to us.
Thank you very much.
Okay. May I
Afternoon.
please ask the councillors for a mover and a seconder to receive the hearing verbal submissions,
I will
please?
move it.
Thank you, Councillor Connell and Councillor Peter Revel. All those in favour, please say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
There being none, that is carried. Thank you. So looking at our order paper now, we are running a little bit ahead of schedule. I'm just looking to Ari to see if we will move on to our next session or break for early morning tea.
Right.
All right. Okay. Do I need to close this formally?
Yes, we do need to close the feedback forum.
That's what I need. Just all right. Just for everybody online, thank you so much for attending. This is the close of the formal feedback part for